What if the life you are living right now, the decisions you make, the emotions you feel, and even the quality of your relationships are all being determined by one thing, the health of your brain? Imagine for a moment that your brain is the lens through which you see the entire world. If that lens is foggy, cracked, or neglected, everything you see will look distorted. But if the lens is clear, strong, and cared for, life itself looks brighter, possibilities expand, and hope becomes real. The truth is simple yet powerful. Change your brain and you change your life. Every new habit, every new thought, every better choice reshapes the very circuits of your mind. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is not fixed, it is constantly rewiring, creating new pathways when you give it the right environment. You are not doomed by your past, your genetics, or your mistakes. The brain can heal, adapt, and grow at any age. It begins with small choices. What you eat either fuels your brain or clouds it. The sleep you allow yourself tonight will either sharpen your memory or steal your focus tomorrow. The thoughts you repeat, hopeful or hopeless, will carve deep pathways that shape how you feel and act. Even 10 minutes of movement can increase blood flow and oxygen to your brain, igniting energy and clarity. When your brain changes, your entire life changes. Depression lifts, anxiety calms, focus returns, relationships improve, purpose strengthens.
Mm.
What once felt impossible begins to feel achievable. Healing your brain is not just about sharper memory or more focus. It is about creating a life of freedom, joy, and impact. The most empowering truth is that you are not stuck with the brain you have. You can build a better one. The past does not define you, your daily choices do. And every choice you make starting today is a brick in the foundation of the life you long for. Change begins now. Change your brain, and you truly can change your life. The brain is the command center of every thought, decision, and emotion because it is the organ that shapes how we experience life itself. Every time you feel joy, sadness, fear, or excitement, it is your brain processing signals, releasing chemicals, and creating meaning out of what you see and hear. When you decide to act, whether to take a step forward in courage or hold back in fear, that choice begins with brain activity. Your memory, your focus, your creativity, your ability to love and connect with others all flow from how well your brain is functioning. If the brain is healthy, clear, and energized, you experience life with confidence and clarity. But if the brain is overworked, stressed, or undernourished, even the simplest tasks can feel overwhelming and emotions can spiral out of control. People often think of the heart as the center of who they are, but in reality, the brain drives every heartbeat, every breath, and every decision. Caring for the brain means caring for your entire existence. It is the control tower, the lens, and the foundation of your future. Protect it, fuel it, and strengthen it, and your whole life begins to change. Change in life begins with change in the brain's health and habits because the brain is the source of every action, reaction, and perspective you hold. If the brain is struggling, foggy, inflamed, deprived of rest or proper nutrition, then your decisions will reflect that struggle. A tired brain leads to poor choices. A distracted brain limits focus, and an unhealthy brain often drives destructive patterns that feel impossible to break. But when the brain begins to heal, clarity returns, willpower strengthens, and new habits become possible. Science shows that the brain can rewire itself, but it needs direction. Simple changes like eating nutrient rich foods, getting quality sleep, practicing gratitude, or exercising regularly create powerful shifts in brain chemistry. These small actions alter the way neurons fire and build stronger connections for better focus, mood, and resilience. The life you dream of, whether it is more peace, better health, deeper relationships, or greater success starts with the organ that drives all of it. If you want transformation, you cannot ignore the brain. By changing what you feed it, how you rest it, and the habits you repeat daily, you begin to rewrite the story of your life from the inside out. Your brain is constantly rewiring and can improve at any age because it is built with a remarkable quality called neuroplasticity. This means that the brain is not fixed or frozen in its abilities, but is always adapting to what you think, feel, and do. Every time you learn something new, practice a skill, or even change a habit, your brain is creating new connections and strengthening pathways. This process does not stop when you grow older. It continues throughout life. Too many people believe that memory loss, slower thinking, or lack of focus is simply the result of aging, but science proves otherwise. The truth is that when the brain is given the right stimulation through healthy foods, exercise, meaningful learning, and emotional balance, it can grow stronger. Even in later years, new brain cells can form, old pathways can be repaired, and new habits can replace destructive ones. A person who once felt trapped in anxiety can train the brain for calm. Someone who struggled with focus can develop clarity. Change is always possible because the brain is always listening and reshaping itself. No matter your age, your brain can improve, and with it, your entire life can be renewed. Small daily choices create lasting changes in brain function because the brain responds to repetition more than intention. Every single action, no matter how small, sends a signal to the brain and begins to form a pathway. When you choose healthy food instead of processed junk, you fuel your brain with nutrients that improve clarity and memory. Yeah. When you go for a short walk, you increase blood flow and oxygen that energize neurons. When you turn off screens earlier at night, you allow your brain to rest and recharge, protecting focus for the next day. These actions may seem minor in the moment, but repeated day after day, they create powerful, lasting changes. Negative habits work the same way. Repeated stress, poor diet, and lack of sleep carve destructive pathways that weaken brain performance. The encouraging truth is that the brain is always adapting, always reshaping itself around what you practice. Small choices build momentum, and momentum creates transformation. Just as drops of water carve stone over time, daily habits carve the architecture of your brain. By committing to simple, consistent steps, you create lasting improvements that affect not only how you think, but how you live. What you feed your brain, food, thoughts, and environment shapes your destiny because the brain is constantly influenced by what surrounds it and what enters it. Every meal you eat becomes raw material for brain function. Nutrient rich foods like vegetables, fish, nuts, and berries provide the building blocks for strong neurons, sharper memory, and balanced mood. On the other hand, processed foods and sugar weaken connections and cloud focus. But nourishment is not only physical. The thoughts you allow to repeat in your mind create pathways that determine how you feel and how you act. Hopeful, empowering thoughts strengthen resilience, while constant negativity wires the brain for anxiety, fear, or despair. Even the environment you live in, your relationships, your work setting, the level of stress or peace around you shapes brain chemistry. Toxic environments train the brain to stay on high alert, while safe and positive surroundings encourage creativity and calm. Over time, these influences determine the direction of your life. Your destiny is not random. It is built by what you feed your brain daily. By choosing wisely, healthy foods, uplifting thoughts, and life-giving environments, you create a future of clarity, strength, and purpose. Stress, sleep, and exercise directly affect clarity, mood, and memory because they are the three pillars that determine how well the brain performs each day. Chronic stress floods the brain with cortisol, a hormone that in small bursts can be useful, but in constant supply damages the hippocampus, the very center of memory and learning. Stress also disrupts focus and makes emotions harder to manage, leaving you feeling scattered and overwhelmed. Sleep, on the other hand, is when the brain repairs itself. During deep rest, toxins are flushed out, memories are organized, and new information is processed. Without adequate sleep, focus dulls, reaction time slows, and mood declines. Exercise is equally powerful as movement increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, releasing chemicals like endorphins and brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which support growth of new neurons and improve resilience. Together, stress management, restorative sleep, and consistent exercise form a cycle that either strengthens or weakens the brain. Neglect them, and clarity, mood, and memory decline. Protect them, and the brain thrives with energy and sharpness. Your daily patterns in these areas determine not only how you think today, but also how well your brain will serve you for years to come. Healing the brain means healing relationships, purpose, and future, because the brain is the organ of connection, meaning, and decision making. When the brain is struggling, foggy, inflamed, or weighed down by poor habits, relationships often suffer. Misunderstandings increase, patience decreases, and emotions feel harder to control. A healthy brain, on the other hand, is calmer, more focused, and better able to respond with kindness and clarity, strengthening bonds with family, friends, and coworkers. Purpose is also tied to brain health. When the brain functions well, energy and motivation rise, making it easier to pursue meaningful goals and stay consistent with them. A brain that is nourished and cared for sees possibilities instead of obstacles, building hope for the future. Healing the brain also means reducing the grip of anxiety, depression, and impulsivity, all of which cloud vision and derail progress. As the brain heals, life choices improve, creating momentum toward a more fulfilling future. This is why caring for the brain is not just about personal health. It ripples outward, shaping how we love, how we lead, and how we build our lives. Heal the brain, and you heal the foundation upon which your entire future is built. You are not stuck with the brain you have. You can build a better one, because the brain is designed to adapt, grow, and repair itself. Too often, people believe they are trapped by genetics, past mistakes, or lifelong patterns of thinking. But neuroscience proves otherwise. Through neuroplasticity, the brain is constantly forming new connections, strengthening pathways that are used often, and weakening those that are neglected. This means you are never locked into who you were yesterday. You can literally train your brain to become sharper, calmer, and more resilient. Simple habits like improving your diet, moving your body, and practicing gratitude send signals to the brain that promote healing and growth. Even mental habits, such as challenging negative thoughts and focusing on possibilities, carve out stronger neural circuits that shift mood and behavior. Over time, these repeated actions reshape the brain's structure. It is like upgrading the wiring of your most powerful tool. You may have experienced trauma, addiction, or decline, but those do not have to define your future. By consistently making better choices, you can transform your brain into one that serves you with clarity, strength, and purpose, opening the door to an entirely new life. Transformation starts not tomorrow, but with the choices you make today, because change is never a future event. It is a present decision. Waiting for the right time often becomes a trap that delays growth indefinitely. The brain responds to what you consistently do now, not to what you plan to do later. Every meal you eat today is either fueling clarity or clouding focus. Every hour of sleep you allow yourself tonight is either repairing your brain or draining it further. Every thought you choose to dwell on is carving a pathway of hope or despair. These seemingly small choices accumulate into patterns, and patterns shape destiny. Tomorrow's brain health is built by today's actions. The beauty of this truth is that transformation does not require giant leaps. It requires consistent, intentional steps. Choosing water instead of soda, a walk instead of more screen time, gratitude instead of complaint. Each choice shifts the brain in a better direction. Momentum begins with the first decision, and each one builds on the last. Life change is not about waiting for a perfect day. It is about realizing that today is the only day you can act. Transformation begins the moment you do.